Have you ever wondered about the man behind the myth, the real Christopher Columbus? We often hear his name in history lessons and popular culture, but who was he really? Christopher Columbus, a name that reverberates through the corridors of time, is as mysterious as he is famous. This pivotal figure who straddles the boundary between the medieval and modern worlds is often painted with a broad brushstroke. We're told that he's the intrepid explorer, the daring seafarer, who, with 3 ships and a motley crew, stumbled upon the Americas while searching for a new route to Asia. His discovery in 1492, we are told, reshaped the world, marking the beginning of an era of exploration and colonization. Sounds straightforward, doesn't it? But history, like a well-woven tapestry, is made up of countless threads, each one adding depth and texture to the overall picture. And when it comes to Columbus, the threads are numerous, tangled, and fraught with controversy. The prevailing narrative of Columbus as the heroic discoverer of the New World is a simplified one. It's a story that has been retold and refined over the centuries, distilled into a digestible myth for school children. But it's a narrative that raises as many questions as it answers. Just how much of this narrative is fact, and how much is fable? Was Columbus the courageous navigator we've been led to believe, forging a path across the unknown sea? Or was he a man of his time, driven by ambition and the promise of wealth, navigating the murky waters of politics and power as much as the Atlantic Ocean? These questions and many more swirl around the figure of Columbus like a storm at sea, obscuring the man behind the myth. It's time we cast a fresh eye on this enigmatic character from our past, to sift fact from fiction and uncover the real Columbus. So, who was Christopher Columbus in truth? Let's peel back the layers of history and explore. Born in Genoa, Italy in 1451, Christopher Columbus grew up on the cusp of an epoch that would dramatically reshape the world. The son of a wool weaver, young Christopher was not born into a life of privilege, yet his humble beginnings didn't deter him from dreaming big. As a child, he would often find himself gazing out at the expansive sea, his mind teeming with curiosity and a desire to explore the unknown. From his early days, Columbus was drawn to the sea. His first sailing experience came at the tender age of 14, and it was clear that a life on the open waves was his calling. The young sailor quickly rose through the ranks, proving himself to be a capable navigator. His experiences on the sea, coupled with his voracious appetite for knowledge, fostered in him an understanding of the world that was ahead of his time. However, life at sea was not just about adventure for Columbus. He was a man with a mission, a man with ambitions that extended beyond the horizon. Europe was in the midst of the age of discovery, and the race was on to find a westward route to the lucrative spice trade of the East Indies. Columbus was certain that such a route existed, and he was determined to find it. His ambition was fueled by a blend of personal desire for fame and fortune, and a genuine belief that he was destined to make a significant contribution to the world. He studied maps, read extensively about the voyages of other explorers, and spent countless hours planning his own journey. Columbus was not just an explorer, he was a visionary who dared to challenge the perceived limitations of his era. With an unquenchable thirst for exploration, Columbus was set on a path that would change the world. He was ready to risk it all in pursuit of his dreams, ready to venture into the unknown, and ready to leave his mark on history. And as we'll see in the next chapter of his life, Columbus would do just that, stepping into the unknown and emerging as a figure who would forever alter the course of human history. In 1492, Columbus set sail into the unknown, armed with little more than a compass and a dream. This voyage marked the beginning of a period of exploration and discovery that would forever change the world. Columbus, a seasoned mariner, knew the voyage would be fraught with peril. The open sea was a place of mystery and danger, filled with the threat of violent storms, treacherous currents, and the ever-present fear of the unknown. Yet Columbus was undeterred. He believed in his mission and was determined to see it through. The journey was long and arduous. For over 2 months, Columbus and his crew of about 90 men sailed across the vast Atlantic, battling the elements and the constant uncertainty of what lay ahead. Yet, despite the hardships, they pressed on, driven by the promise of discovery and the allure of the unknown. On October 12th, after 70 long days at sea, the cry of land echoed across the decks. The crew had made it to the New World. This land, later known to be the Bahamas, was the first of many discoveries Columbus would make during his voyage. In the New World, Columbus encountered indigenous peoples with cultures vastly different from his own. These interactions were a mix of curiosity, misunderstanding, and at times, conflict. Columbus made attempts to communicate and trade with the indigenous peoples, with varying degrees of success. Despite the challenges, these interactions marked the beginning of a new era of global connectivity and cultural exchange. Yet the voyage was not without its dark side. The arrival of Columbus and his men brought disease and disruption to the indigenous peoples, marking the start of a difficult and often tragic chapter in their history. Like a comet, Columbus blazed a trail across the Atlantic, leaving a lasting impact in his wake. His voyage of discovery opened up new worlds, sparked an age of exploration, and forever altered the course of human history. Whether for better or worse, Columbus's journey is a testament to the human spirit's indomitable will to explore, to dream, and to discover. Columbus's voyages marked the beginning of centuries of transatlantic conquest and colonization. The ripples of his journeys extended far beyond the shores he first touched, triggering an era of exploration that would change the world. One of the most significant outcomes was what we now know as the Columbian Exchange, a massive global exchange of goods, ideas, diseases, and people. This exchange introduced Europe to previously unknown crops like maize and potatoes, which would eventually become staple foods. Conversely, the Old World brought to the Americas domesticated animals, grains, and unfortunately, diseases such as smallpox. However, Columbus's legacy is not without controversy. The darker side of this exploration era lies in the treatment of the indigenous peoples Columbus encountered. He and his men enslaved many, forced them to convert to Christianity, and inflicted violence upon those who resisted. This mistreatment of indigenous populations set a precedent for European colonizers who followed, leading to the decimation of native cultures and peoples. Furthermore, Columbus's voyages played a significant role in initiating the Atlantic slave trade. His expeditions revealed a dire need for labor in the newly established colonies, leading to the forced migration of millions of African people. This brutal trade had profound and devastating effects, the impacts of which can still be felt today. Yet despite these controversies, Columbus is often celebrated as the man who discovered the New World. He is seen as a symbol of exploration and conquest, a figure who opened the door to a new era. But this view is increasingly challenged as we continue to grapple with the darker aspects of his legacy. In conclusion, Columbus's voyages left an indelible mark on history. They sparked a global exchange that forever altered the way of life for people across continents. But they also set in motion a chain of events that led to widespread exploitation and suffering. Columbus remains a figure of debate, a symbol of exploration and conquest, discovery and devastation. As we look back on the life of Christopher Columbus, we're left with a complex, contradictory portrait. A man of many facets, Columbus was at once an intrepid explorer, a driven visionary, and a figure of controversy. Let's recount the journey we've taken together today through the enigma that was Columbus. We delved into his early life, his ambitious dreams, and how they led to his audacious voyage of discovery. We then touched upon his legacy, a blend of awe-inspiring achievements and sobering consequences that continue to echo through history. However, it's crucial to remember that history isn't black and white. It's a spectrum of grays, filled with complexities and contradictions. Columbus, like any historical figure, should be viewed through a lens of critical thinking and nuanced understanding. It's easy to paint him as either a hero or a villain, but reality is rarely that simple. Columbus was a man of his time, shaped by the attitudes and ideas of his era. Yet, his actions and their ramifications rippled down the centuries, inviting us to question, to reflect, and to learn. As we grapple with his narrative, we're reminded of the importance of balanced perspectives and the need to continually reassess our understanding of the past. So, the next time you think of Christopher Columbus, remember the man behind the myth. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the life of Christopher Columbus. We hope this voyage into the past has sparked your curiosity. We invite you to share your thoughts, ideas, or questions about Columbus in the comments below. Let's continue this conversation and deepen our understanding of history together. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating explorations into history.